I don't know if it's only me, but ever since Void 3.0 came out, I have been obsessed with using scatter grenades all the time. I see a lot of builds around that focus on vortex and suppressive nades, but nothing about using scatters. So I wanted to make a build that allowed you to throw infinite scatter grenades, and what I made came out way stronger than I expected. Not only do you have nearly 100% uptime on your grenades, but your class ability and your melee ability too. And on top of all that, grenade kills generate a metric ton worth of super energy, so you can constantly keep chucking Nova Bombs or clearing rooms with Nova Warp. Yo, what's going on guys? It's G-Miners here, and today we are going over the most insane infinite scatter grenade and really just infinite ability and super build in Destiny 2. I did want to mention that SUPPS is doing their Mystery March event right now. They are releasing new limited edition waifu cups every Friday. The Neko Made cup was just released today. Even if you are not a fan of the art style and you are just getting tubs or samples, using code GM for 10% off or clicking the link in my description below is the best way to support me other than watching the videos. Thanks. This build is going to revolve around the exotic gauntlets, Nothing Manacles, which allow us to store 2 scatter grenade charges. And on top of this, we get tracking for the scatter grenade projectiles that spawn, so these nades are going to be much more lethal than the regular version. Taking a look at our Void subclass, we are obviously using scatter grenades. For our first aspect, we are using Feed the Void. This is going to proc Devour, which is broken in and of itself, but the increased grenade energy from kills is going to be a huge reason that we can keep our grenades up constantly. The second aspect we are using is Child of the Old Gods. This doesn't help the build that much, and most people were probably expecting me to be using Chaos Accelerant, seeing as it is a whole aspect dedicated to grenades. The issue I found with this aspect is that using this with scatter grenades and Nothing Manacles feels super redundant. Chaos Accelerant allows the sub-munitions to track to enemies when using scatter grenades, but our gauntlets already do this. Using both felt the exact same as just using Nothing Manacles, so it is not going to help the build out, and it only really gives us 1 fragment slot, so Child of the Old Gods is the way to go. Moving along in the fragment slots, we have Echo of Expulsion. The Void explosions from grenade kills are going to make scatter grenades clear large groups of adds exponentially faster than without this. Echo of Undermining is going to make each scatter grenade deal 15% more damage and will allow us to debuff tanky targets. Echo of Persistence is just for increasing the duration of the Devour timer. And lastly, Echo of Reprisal is going to be used to generate huge amounts of super energy if we are able to get kills while surrounded. Scatter grenades do kill you if you throw them too close, but since we are using Devour, getting kills with the nade will heal us even before we die, so this allows us to use them almost as a shotgun and still survive. Before I continue with the mods for the build, if you found this video useful, don't forget to drop a like and sub down below. Subbing is completely free, it helps me out a ton guys, and you can always change your mind later. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I went full on Savant mode when thinking of the right mods to add to this build. Not many other players would have just the raw intelligence and finesse to put this build together. It might be super hard to understand what everything does, but try to follow along. Mod number 1 is Bountiful Wells. Starting off simple, this is just going to double the amount of wells we generate up to 2 wells, and then let mods start stacking to generate more wells after that. We will be generating Void Elemental Wells with this build, so mod number 2 is Well of Tenacity. Still super easy to understand how I made this decision. This is just going to allow us to tank a lot more damage. Now this is where things get super tricky. The third mod we are using is Elemental Ordnance. After that, mod 4 is going to be another Elemental Ordnance. Last but not least, and honestly in my opinion this is the most important mod of them all, it's going to be Elemental Ordnance number 3. I'm still not sure how I was smart enough to put this build together. Without the 4 years I've spent in college, I don't know if this would have even been possible. Basically, with all of these mods in place, every time we throw a scatter grenade, we are going to spawn 4 Elemental Void Wells. These are going to give us back something like 80% of all our ability energy. When combined with the kills we get from Devour, throwing 1 nade and grabbing every well can easily replace the grenade that we have. On top of this, I always run Salvager Salvo with the build. Chain Reaction and Demo is absolutely busted and gives back huge chunks of grenade energy. Once again, we get energy from Demo and from Devour. I always run this build with a Solar Helmet as well so that I can use 2 Ashes to assets. This is another reason that we get our super back so quickly. I'm going to play some background Lost Sector gameplay with a ton of adds, and here I get my Nova Bomb back something like 4 or 5 times before I complete it. In higher level activities, I also use overload grenades, as scatters will do almost a third of the total health of overloads. This is great for the third encounter in Vow of the Disciple, as you can use it when holding 2 of the 3 relics. I also use Devouring Depths, which is a seasonal mod. Since we are almost always going to have Devour up, this mod will give us a 30% damage increase to our Void super. And since we have Weaken Grenades, we can also get an extra 15% damage increase by throwing a nade before casting. Overall, I think this is one of the best Void builds out there, and it is probably the best overall for solo play, as you can mop through larger chunks of adds, kill tanky enemies, and still have your primary and heavy weapon slots open for whatever activity you are doing. Anyways, that is all for this video, guys. If you want to see more build videos like this, please let me know in the comments below. I read everything and try to respond to every question I get. Enjoy the build. Peace.